Yeah, man. Hold on for a minute. Let me get right for a minute, man. Checking my Facebook page.
Purchase your tracks today.
And my Instagram page. And my Snapchat page. We'll get it back.
See you flossing on Instagram, stay posted on Facebook.
It's the I See What You're Doing podcast. I'm Mr. I See What You're Doing, and as always, I see what you're doing.
As always, I see what you're doing. Man, big show. That's all I can say. I don't even know how to start, but I got some inboxes and I got some people that hit me. Let me change. Never mind. Let's do it like this here. I got some inboxes of people asking me what I thought. You can see the light behind me, of course, because I'm in my bag today. I'm in my mode today, man. But before I start, man, Happy New Year to everybody at BFAM, Facebook, or wherever you at. I almost didn't think I was gonna be able to get this one off, man. But I'm gonna do everything I can to give y'all all the information. Of course, if you hadn't been watching, or if you have been watching, our president has lost his mind. Hey, man, don't get it mad. Don't shoot the messenger. Just remember, our president in the United States of America has totally confounded me. And you know me, it's kind of hard to confound me. Not that I'm totally confused because I be up on my shit a lot. But to say that what's going on is absolutely right, I would consider it to be absolutely wrong. But I mean, such is the conditioning of a government that was built on invading and taking over things that they want. Not only that, but Greenland is going to be next. First you entice and then you ask, and once you get a no, then you do what comes naturally. Now I know some people are gonna get mad about that, but historically, considering their history that they're trying to erase, as far as slavery and all those type of things, we tend to forget that in those particular instances with slavery and everything, prior to slavery, the Pilgrims came over here, which is why we celebrate Thanksgiving. And then the colonizers came over and colonized a land that was already preoccupied by someone else. We know the Indians were here first. And then, I've been over the history of England, and the British are coming, and the Boston Tea Parties and things like that. Right, hold on, tighten up your seatbelts because this is going to be a ride. Not only have I went and found out information that I think to be pertinent to us, I've also did the research in the background on prior presidents to Venezuela. Now, I know you want to know what we're talking about, so let's get right into that. America has invaded Venezuela, kidnapped the president and his wife, charged them with crimes against America, and then installed a new president, Delcy Rodriguez, and stated that they were going to run Venezuela, which is kind of crazy if you install a president unless she's part of the shrubbery, which I mean a plant. You feel me? You're always going to find somebody that believes in your agenda when doing these things, right? To understand this conflict, we got to go back before the President Chavez, before the sanctions, before the headline, before the U.S. treated Latin America as a sphere of influence. Not a group of equals aligned with the U.S. More like a problem, you feel me? I almost consider Latins to be a superpower at some point. You get it? Um, uh, because the Spanish are actually Latin American, considered to be Latin Americans. This is where you get that from. We can go into a whole lot of different things, and I'm going to get right there to you. The original setup back in 1843, and we're doing history lessons now. And I mean, boy, it's a carousel of craziness. I got a whole lot of notes, man. I've been all deep inside this particular thing. But let's just say 1843 is when the so-called conflict started between America and Venezuela. And back then, America wanted to be big brother to Venezuela. They wanted Venezuela to be independent, but dependent, separate but equal. You feel me? So the answer to that was no. So as far back as 1843, America has been trying to influence Venezuela and have a stronghold in Venezuela. But then you got to consider the surrounding areas around Venezuela so you understand exactly where we're going. First of all, Venezuela is strategically placed in South America, in the middle, not in the heart of South America, but it would probably be something like Chicago, Indianapolis, or Tennessee if you look at the American map. That's how Venezuela is structured. And then you have cities around Venezuela. Now, why would America invade Venezuela? Hang tight. I'm going to get to that. I don't want to run through this thing. I want you to understand what we're looking at. It's always been said that gold is the primary resource on this planet. And it's not. It's not. I'll divulge to you later what the primary resource is, but by the time I get into the middle of this podcast, you'll already know. So they go to Chavez and they gave Chavez the same proposition. Hugo Chavez. So that I can give you the name. Right? Maduro was handpicked by Chavez, but in these particular countries that are considered to be countries that have dictators, they put president on it, but considered to have dictators, kind of like Muammar Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein. And we know what America went to Iraq for. We know what they went over there for. And the footnote right in the middle of that, because I just want you to understand. In these particular countries, our hearts go out to Venezuela and any country that's being oppressed, right? We in America should know about that because we read about oppression in this particular country, slavery. But when those countries are being oppressed, you feel me? I find it hard to believe that it's America's job to police the entire world and go into these particular countries, right? To, help the people, right? We know that because we sent $40 million to, it wasn't Venezuela, but it was, we know that because we know that they went into Iraq to get oil. I know that, but I mean, maybe you don't. The second thing I wanted to point out to you is this right here. It's not America's responsibility to go in and help these particular countries unless you ask for it, not because you want to go into these particular countries because I'm going to go in and help these people without their request, right? Because they have a president. Right or wrong. The president knows right or wrong. I mean, they know. They know. They know the difference between right and wrong. They know what they're not supposed to do. Forgive me for this, man. I'm actually sitting here and watching the distractions come in, and I knew that when I first decided to do this particular podcast, this episode. I can almost go into and tell you all of the obstacles and things that I had to run into getting this done, from computers going down and all that. Nonetheless, let's get back to what I was saying. So you have a country who feels that they're so invincible and such a great power that they can go into other countries and correct what's wrong in those particular countries, right? For America. But I want to give you an idea that America doesn't go into these particular countries out of the goodness of their hearts. America are invading these countries because there's something that they want out of those countries, whether it's military strategic placing, whether it's precious metals, whatever the case may be. It's not because I looked and saw there was a need for someone to step in. If that was the case, Ukraine needs someone to step in. But America's not doing that. So as America was asking Venezuela, let us in a nutshell become an American territory and things like that. I mean, it is South America, but we want to help you. Chavez was like, fuck you, no, we good over here. And the sanctions came in. America started getting sanctions. And as we're looking right now, the woman who is I'll give you that in a minute. The sanctions started coming in, and the sanctions have been put on Venezuela since the early 1900s. Can't go directly into which one it was, but I know a lot of those sanctions that they had on Venezuela from the early 1900s escalated in 2017 and 2019. Yeah, I tried to avoid it, but let's do it another way. If you consider that America wants to go into Venezuela, the reason why America wants to go into Venezuela is because they have a huge amount of oil, kind of like Saddam Hussein when they had the oil over there, and the deposits over there are immense. The thing is that in America, you have oil and you have these pipelines, but why would I deplete my resources? Why would I deplete my resources when I can go and get somebody else's, right? So that's what's happening with that, right? But before that, America had put sanctions on Venezuela being able to sell oil and export oil from the country per so much oil in Venezuela, because America was stopping Venezuela from selling oil to anyone. At this particular point, when you look at it, even America. So that and that hurts you, because if that's your resource. That's the reason you can make millions and millions of dollars. You can become a world superpower by selling oil. You feel me? But America was not allowing that to happen. Okay, so not only did they, not only were the sanctions geared around exports of oil, it was geared around financial transactions and access to global banking systems. So you can't be a world superpower without being able to access other world banks, because you got to have somewhere to put the money. You can't make those particular transactions with the oil financially because they got financial transaction sanctions on Venezuela. Now, mind you, those particular sanctions were not the only reason that those were not the only reasons that Venezuela was struggling. Venezuela also, but they did depend on, they did deepen prolonged suffering and civilian suffering by limiting those particular exports. Now, they didn't only stop the exports, they sanctioned the imports and the revenue that was able to come in. So they were really just, if you understand, they were stopping Venezuela's money. They were stopping Venezuela's money. They were economically punishing Venezuela, right? And that economic punishment caused a negative effect on the population first, not the political aspect of Venezuela, right? Because as you know, in this country, what hurts middle class and lower class Americans economically does not affect billionaires and millionaires economically. Same thing, same, yeah, right? Now, if you go to, if you think about the idea that you have sanctions on stuff coming in and going out, they're stopping your revenue. They're going economic. The world is economically hindering you. Not, let me pull that back. Not the world. The U.S. is economically hindering Venezuela from being great. We're gonna go into why in a bit. That comes back around to us knowing why America was going in to Venezuela. But we know they went in to get oil, but that wasn't the only thing. Those particular measures increased civilian hardship. It strengthened black markets. So now you have crime rings. Remember, you have crime rings, and one of the charges against Nicolas Maduro was that he was dealing with drug cartel while being the president. None of our business in somebody else's country. And you know that and if you ever saw the news prior to him being captured, they were speaking about the president bombing boats that had drugs on them, which is always the way it starts. We got to have a reason to go in. And I could tell you I watched some of the stories on the news, and it was crazy. One of them being that Marco Rubio saying that the United States running running Venezuela, the interest off of the oil that they were going to sell would be good for the Venezuelan country. But remember, these are the same people who had put sanctions on Venezuela to stop them from making that same money. And they're not really making the money off of it. They're making money off of the interest on that oil, not the revenue that comes from directly selling the oil. Get it? Now, as I told you, with strengthening the black markets and increasing civilian hardship, the only people that are not affected by that would be what? The politicians, the elites of that country are not affected by that, because it doesn't affect them economically, because they're able to do and run their businesses. And most of those particular most of those, I would not go against the America when they say that. Possibly some of it was cartel activity, but such is the way in those particular countries. God know that Mexico is the same way. So anything south of the U.S. border, there is going to be drug activity. But I mean, let's just keep it a buck. With the type of intelligence system and capabilities that the United States has, what gets in this country that the United States doesn't know about? Don't worry, I'll wait. Right, everything gets in. Everything, gun, drug, human trafficking. Shit, I'm gonna slow down because I can go off grid, but I'm not at this particular point. So we know all. We know the reasoning. We know the setup of it, right? And as I told you, Venezuela holds the largest oil deposits on Earth. It's been proven, and it's been that way for decades. You know, foreign countries profile Venezuela while Venezuela remained dependent. And when Venezuela chose to control its own oil, that's when cooperation turned into confrontation. So we got the oil, we got the setup, we got Chavez wanted to saying no, we're gonna control our own oil. That's why, hey, let us come in and help you with this. We know how to do this. And then it's like a no. And at that particular time, Chavez was supposed to be taken down from power, right? Let's remember, oil equates to energy as well. Energy and power. Energy and power, right? And with all of the things going on with Doge and all that stuff, and they tracked down all this money that was being spent that was being spent wastefully. The one thing that they were not speaking about was black gold, Texas tea, crude oil, and what that particular market was doing. Now you hear about a lot of markets, but you didn't hear about that market. And I mean, I can say that it could have been, but I may not see. But the what they were selling as one of the reasons they were going into Venezuela was mismanagement of state oil revenue, right? So basically corruption, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they were selling, or however they were maneuvering the oil in this state. I mean, they were saying there was corruption behind it. So, I mean, we are deep into the thing actually. So, now you got to remember when I said that we were going to go into the richest resource on the planet. Most people would think it would be gold, but it's not gold. The richest resource on this planet is oil. Right. Without oil, you can't run no cars. You can't lubricate gears or none of that shit. Oil is it, man. I mean, oil is the thing, and you know, you put oil in everything. They make cooking oils and hair oils and all that. Oil is everything. You know, it's in everything. So that's why oil would be be more valuable than gold. I mean, I can go back and show my age, but if you ever seen the Beverly Hillbillies, you know, black gold Texas tea. But insecurity with oil, which goes back to why America will go into um, Venezuela. It's running out here. They have a lot of it. Let's go get some of it. Let's go get all of it. Energy insecurity affects global markets, regional politics, and foreign intervention. So that's why Venezuela was never left alone when it comes to the oil. Globally relevant because not only did America know that, but everyone knew that Venezuela had that rich reserve. And while you burning up all the oil in these other countries and utilizing all this oil, Venezuela, we're going to stop Venezuela from using that oil just in case. Comes back later. Okay? Now, because you have that much oil, it was bound to happen. Somebody invading Venezuela was bound to happen. I mean, with that kind of oil deposit, it's going to attract global powers looking at you. Just like with as I said before, the Middle East. Saddam Hussein and them guys, them oil barons had that oil, and our president at the time, George Bush, was ready to go over there and get that oil, man. Right? And just so you understand what I'm saying, oil does not just fuel cars. Oil fuels politics. That's the money maker. You know what I'm saying? That's the money maker. Not diamonds, not gold, oil. Oil. It comes from the earth. Water, it's going to evaporate. That oil, it comes from deep down. It's deposited in the earth, and it's endless to a certain extent. So, right? And then you have people, man. And with that oil thing, it caused a lot of chaos. It actually caused the problem with illegal immigration in America. It caused a problem because let's just say it like this. After the it's going to cause a problem with immigration. Let's just say it like this. When America went to Venezuela, they bombed Venezuela. They literally bombed Venezuela. No concern, no compassion, no regard for innocent people who have nothing to do with the oil industry or politics. They bombed Venezuela. All of my stuff is fact checked, so you can go back and check it. But I mean, I'm just telling you. They bombed Venezuela, so there is over 7 million people displaced. That's the UN's estimation. It could be higher, but the UN estimates there's 7 million people in Venezuela are displaced right now. And that migration, the migration has always been south of Mexico, from Venezuela up through Mexico and to America. And we getting ready to see an influx because where else are they going to go, right? It also displaced families. When you bomb those particular when you bomb Venezuela and those families have to leave their homes because they don't have a home anymore, they're going to find somewhere to go. What's better than coming to the country that displaced you in the first place? And we can hear all day on the news and all that, not to be searching for each other. We can hear all day on the news that ICE is picking up people. ICE is arresting people that are already here in America. You don't hear a lot of news about them catching a whole lot of people at the border. You feel me? But that's what happens, right? You go in, you displace the people behind the resource that's not yours. And here we go. Here we go. I'm waiting for this to kick in. And here we are. Here we are. Forgive me for my rant, but I have to do this right now because at the end of it, I'm not going to be able to do it. Let me explain to you the idea of a bully. We all know what a bully is. We all know what a bully is. And I live in this country that we call the United States of America, right? And I have loved ones here in this particular country, but I still know right from wrong. You feel me? Never in the history of this country has a president went to another country, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, fact check. You know, if so, I mean, let me know. But never in the history of this country have I known a president to declare war on another country behind the resources. Behind the resources. Never have I known a president out of the 47 that we've had that looked and said, I want Greenland because it'll be good for America. Knowing that Greenland is a territory for the Dutch. Then South of America, whatever crimes that you have trumped up against Mr. Maduro, I'm not sure whether they are accurate charges or not, but we know that at some particular point you can get charges. You can be accused of some stuff, and then it not be true. The pieces on this chessboard, they not moving correctly from my standpoint. You feel me? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, after you said the crimes that Mr. Maduro or President Maduro perpetrated against America, everything after that, once you got him out of the country, became oil. They've agreed to give us 50 million barrels of oil. We decided to run Venezuela, which is the greatest scam in the world because you having trouble running America. I'm totally off script now, by the way. Not only did you bring Mr. Maduro here, you brought his wife, Celia Flores, here. You know, Miss Flores here. She's been charged with crimes against America as well. I find it intriguing to think that no one has ever been able to come to America and kidnap a United States president, and nobody's ever went to grab Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, haven't showed up on any of those continents to grab their president for crimes against America. I know you went and got assassinated Muammar Gaddafi, and if you do the history on Gaddafi, he was doing great things in this country. I mean, making sure that those people were well taken care of. Saddam Hussein, you went and killed Saddam Hussein. And that was a war, you feel me? But we know what comes behind it. As I said before, America doesn't act upon anything unless there's something to be gained. Nigeria holds a large oil deposit as well. And we know most recently in the news that America bombed Nigeria behind ISIS. Was it ISIS? Yeah, it was behind ISIS, which is similar to ICE, by the way. You feel me? We know that when they went after the Taliban, we found out that the Taliban had been trained by the United States, which most of these countries they go in, they do train the civilians to be able to defend themselves, but this is not that case. So I'm wondering, from a journalist standpoint, at what point do we come to terms with the fact that we live in a country that repeatedly shows us where they stand, in this country and out of this country? We have enough stuff here in America that we need to address as far as homelessness and poverty here, cost of living, high rates of on rent and shit like that. We got a lot of stuff in this country that should be addressed. You feel me? The economic state of this country is in dire straits. We have time to go out and focus on an entirely different country perplexes me. It concerns me, right? And I heard the Democrats be irate, pissed off about what happened when America invaded Venezuela, because it was an invasion. Under the premise that they're going in to help Venezuela and do great things in Venezuela. Shit, I can remember the last time that great things were done in America. Can you see the smoke screen? Can you see the bullshit? But Hugo Chavez, let's get back on track. Hugo Chavez said no, Maduro came in and they probably asked Maduro the same thing. And he was like, nah, we good over here. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to give you guys an opportunity to come in and steal, because that's what that is, steal. Right? Come in and steal. with 7 million Venezuelans having to flee their country, that's the largest displacement in the Western Hemisphere. Right? You know who has to deal with that? Again, 7 million probably not going to make it to America, but the neighboring countries are going to have to absorb that economic strain, the political strain, and the social pressure that's going to be upon them when those people arrive to their countries, whether legally or illegally. You know, it changes the markets in those particular countries. It changes the public service in the countries, and it's going to change the regional politics in those countries, because once you realize that America was able to do what they did as far as invading Venezuela, and there's no consequences behind it, there's no repercussions behind it, then guess what? Other countries will feel that they can do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They can do the same thing. And whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not, or whether you want to admit it, while we're in the middle of that, it's going to cause a global conflict. It's going to cause a global conflict. Okay? We on the verge of World War III. And that's not a scare tactic. That's just what you're looking at. You feel me? That's just what you're looking at. When a move like that gets made, and then another country gets threatened, Greenland, it's going to cause a global conflict, because what about the people that are in alliance with Venezuela? Cuba, the Cuban president, which is right off the coast of Florida. I mean, shit, they gave it 200 miles or a little bit more than that. But Cuba's right there. Cuba has the capability of shooting off missiles. Guess what happens with that? You don't think America can be hit, but Florida is right there. Florida is right there, people. And I'm not here to give you cupcakes and shit all the time. I'm not here to give you the most amazing good news all the time. We can wake up in the morning and shit and be in the cup. We can wake up in the morning and be in the cups of a fucking war, because the person who leads this country right now is not cognitively thinking correctly on what is being done. You feel me? I mean, it's real life consequences behind this thing, man. It's 7 million people going to wherever they land at. It's going to cause strains on those nations. And then the people that are going in, because they're displaced from their homes, is going to make those particular, it's going to make the people leaving Venezuela vulnerable. It literally could turn them into slaves. Right? Because who leaves home when everything is going right or when things are going good? So the fact that you have 7 million people migrating means that something's wrong. And then because there wasn't a migration prior to an invasion by America, that means that the United States caused some problem. Right? Right. And then when you look on the news is going to paint Venezuela. Brian said, did you happen to notice in the videos of Maduro capture that Maduro had different clothes on in every video, yet they all happened within 4 hours? Yeah, I did catch that, but I also saw the video of Maduro arriving in the U.S. live, and it kind of correlates with the. It kind of correlates. I mean, there could be a conspiracy behind it. Uh, I'm still digging, man. I'm having fun with this shit. Believe me, I'm not even done with it yet. Come back next week and see. I'm just setting you up right now on some stuff that you should think about. But shout out to Brian, man. I never got that email from you, so I don't know what it's in your outline, but we'll deal with that later. Um, the media coverage is going to paint Venezuela as a dilapidated country, a country that's in whack, a country that needs help. That's what the U.S. Media is going to paint them as. You feel me? I heard Bernie and a lot of Democrats step up and say that it's wrong. I've heard some Republicans say that it's wrong, but then I've heard some Republicans that say this is good for Venezuela. Oh no, they got him. Ryan said, I mean, do you really think we have him, or is it another Bin Laden mass event by our government? Oh no, they have him. Delcy Rodriguez is actually in power. So I've been on this thing all week long, man. Google the woman that they put in power. I told you it's the plant. It's the plant, bro. It's the plant. So you got to get him out of the way. I know what you lean to, Brian. I know what you lean to, man. And I want to go there, but I don't want to go there without it being factual. You feel me? So at this particular point, the safest thing for me to do is say, yeah, they have it. You feel me? Where they got him at, I'm not gonna say that. You feel me? They supposed to be a trial. He was being questioned. They gonna trial the Venezuelan president on U.S. soil for crimes against America. In turn, they not picking up. They not going to try the president here on war crime. You feel me? By the way, be careful. They trumping. I mean, excuse me. That was crazy shit to say, huh? Trumping up. The buildup is this right here, man. All shit, all things is hot. Was it right to go and grab was it right to go and grab the president of a country and take him down and put somebody else in place that agrees with your agenda? No. You feel me? Because you have to agree to disagree. In this particular country, our country says freedom of speech. We have the ability to have our own minds and think about things. And then they started to tell us what to think. Why do I think that's the case? Because television tells you where they go, when they go, how they go, what to buy, what to drink, all of that. And it's programmed. And then you have some people that step outside of the box and look at the thing and go, no, that's not right. And if your moral compass is not aligned, you'll go and look at the world through patriotism. Oh, no, I was going to visit. Brian said, I'm sorry, my email is kjb412@gmail.com. Oh, no, Brian, I need you to send your address and stuff because I'm going to send you a physical copy of that outline. I'm going to send you the copy of that outline that I had in front of me when I did that show. But once you begin to tighten up your moral compass, then you begin to understand what happens in this particular country when your heart goes out to Sandy Hook, when all those kids were shot up in that school. Hang tight and we'll get it to you, Brian. I promise you. But if you think about the school shootings, if you think about the Oklahoma bombing, and all the things that happened in this particular country, right? If you think about 9/11 and the fact that they said that they did not know where Bin Laden was, but Obama was able to find him, meaning that he was stationary in one place. We talking about a man who who was suffering from kidney failure, right? If your heart has compassion for the things that happen in America that we deem to be not right, then our moral compass would say that the things that happen outside of this country that are perpetrated by us should not be right as well. Feel me? Patriotism or not, right is right and wrong is wrong. You feel me? I'm looking into getting the actual charges because I know it's a lot of them. You feel me? The indictment should be up. I just couldn't find it, and I mean, the type of person I am, I would go out and learn to say maybe they don't want me to have it, but that's another story for another time. Um, Not ever have we seen where one president has been taken into custody and removed from his country, right? We've seen some assassinations and things like that, but we've never seen a president be ripped from his country. And I say ripped because that's what's happening, you know. And his wife and his son. I forgot to mention the son got taken out of the country as well. I could have went all the way into a whole lot of things here, man. But when you do those type of things, you set us up and you put the American people in danger because you have countries that look at us, and you have countries that are already professed to hate Americans, right? The more countries that you put travel bans on, they ban us from their countries, right? Why do we think that when American reporters and those particular people go to these countries, they end up unalive in those particular countries where they are, where the people hate Americans not because of what Americans do, but because of the image that they have of the country. It's the image that the country portrays. It's like getting up in the morning and calling T-Mobile and laying it to the person that answers the phone and not pointing out the actual company. It's like going into the grocery store and slamming into, and I mentioned T-Mobile, it's like going into Aldi or Publix or something like that and slamming into the cashier or the guy who starts the groceries because you have an issue with the company, with the store. And these are fictitious examples, but I just want to give you the severity of it because I can't just say this or that. I'm going to give you examples because most people who listen to this particular podcast have had an experience with with a company here. It's like going and catching the first person you see that you deem represents that country, that company, and giving them hell. Same difference. We have people in Congress and the Senate and our commander in chief, per se, Donald Trump, giving this country a black eye. And whether you agree or not, that's on you. But I'm just telling you that at some point, we have to call it what it is, whether we get a result from it or not. There's nothing wrong with speaking out and saying that is the wildest shit in the world. Right? Which brings me to that. It's unchecked power. And when you don't call out the people who are in power on their wrongdoings, there's no moral compass set in to let them for them to judge what they're doing by whether they agree with you or disagree with you. There's nothing wrong with pointing out the things that are wrong here, or the things that are going wrong with our democracy. Because it's been a chaotic democracy. And it's totally becoming more chaotic. And after so long of contention and tension and contestment and all of that, and all the things that come along with it, you lead yourself into the cuffs of World War III. You can quote me on it because I've been doing this for a minute, and everything that I've said up until this particular point has been on point and accurate. And go back and check. I've given out some subliminals. I've given out some direct messages, but I've been on point and accurate. And I got a message today or a couple of days ago that confirmed that I've been on point and accurate with this one. I said a long time ago, man, that we were getting ready to go into if we're not careful, we're going to be at war with the world. And these type of moves right here are the ones that'll make us, put us at war with the world, because somebody's going to step in and say, "Hey, that's not right," and then level heads won't prevail, and then you got missiles and all type of shit and all type of chaos going on in the world. And the same people that say that they have the best interests of the people at heart have now thrown us into the throes of war. You get it? So this was a kind of a different podcast for me today, because as I did this and my mentality went, I thought about how it would feel. And that's the thing that you have to take from this today. I thought about how it would feel. And on a small level, just think how you would feel if somebody came to your home and ripped you from your home and trumped up charges on you. Because they wanted to live in your home, or they wanted something inside of your house. Just think about if your house was sitting on oil or something like that, and someone came along and ripped you from your house and falsely accused you of something, only to take the resources that were on the land that you had rightfully paid for, or the land that you existed on. Just think about that for a minute. As I told you, you went back to Chavez, and you went by prior to President Hugo Chavez and President Maduro back to 1843. There's always been an eye on that, on the resources in Venezuela, but someone would classify Venezuela at best as a second world country, not a third world country, but a second, and could possibly be a third world country. But nonetheless, they've done it in Africa, where they went in, and the diamonds and all the precious metals in Africa, and anywhere that there's been precious metals, they've done it in these countries where it's been oil, where you just go in and you ravage the country and you just take what you want. They did it with the land here in America. They've just done it with with Venezuela, because there's oil in Venezuela, and it's a large amount of oil. And then under the premise that America's going to come and make that particular country better, when there's not an ability, and we have not seen proven facts, proven record of America making this country better, or in the words of our president, great again. We know what that means. You're going to go into another country and make them better. We got trillions of dollars in debt here, and we can't balance this budget, but you're going to balance the budget in another country. That's all I got for today, man. Tune in next week where we'll touch on something else. We'll touch back on this, man. Until next time, man, y'all be easy as always.
www.enter-effect.com for more info, beats, and designs. Beats available for $30 and exclusive beats starting at $150.
Make your next move. Shine on with your girls, I do my we can all go. Hey man, I'm going in there with this man. She be on the team.